"Get off the path, sir. You're disrupting the royal parade." The officer's voice cracked like a whip, slicing through the regal rhythm of drumbeats and synchronized boots. A hush rippled through the crowd, hundreds of eyes snapping toward the scene. There, in the middle of the mall, stood an elderly man, hunched and trembling, clutching a worn cane as if it were the last thread holding him upright. His steps were slow, each one a struggle against gravity, his eyes squinting beneath the harsh midday sun. The iconic red coats of the Royal Guard advanced in perfect mechanical unison, unwavering, unshaken, unstoppable. They didn't break rank. They never did. The crowd buzzed with tension, phones shot up, parents pulled children closer. Everyone knew the rule: the Royal Guard does not deviate, not for tourists, not for delays, not for anyone. Yet the old man remained in the path of the oncoming march, caught between honor and helplessness. Panic flickered in his eyes, then something unprecedented happened. One guard, tall, stone-faced, marching in perfect lockstep, stopped. The other guards continued for a beat, then halted in stunning synchronization. But this one guard, badge number 27, did what no one expected. He turned, his boots pivoted against the historic stones, and he stepped out of formation. A collective gasp swelled through the crowd. The commanding officer's voice boomed, "Heath, return to line." But the guard, Private Daniel Heath, kept walking, each step deliberate, each motion filled with quiet defiance. He moved straight toward the elderly man, whose knees looked moments away from buckling. They locked eyes, one a man molded by duty, the other weathered by time. "You don't know me," the old man whispered, voice quivering, "but I once stood where you are now." Heath said nothing. He simply extended a white-gloved hand. The man hesitated, then reached forward, fingers shaking as they met the soldiers. Together, slowly, they crossed the road. Heath matched his every step to the veteran's faltering pace. No one dared move. The world had gone still, cameras lowered, conversations died. What was unfolding before them was bigger than any ceremony. When they reached the sidewalk, the man turned. A tear slipped down his cheek as he rasped, 1944, Normandy. "I was 17. My squad didn't make it. I kept marching. For them." His voice broke, brittle and bare. "For them, I kept marching." Heath didn't speak, but his posture shifted. With the sharpness only years of training could sharpen, he saluted, high, proud, immovable. And in that salute, the crowd understood. They erupted in applause, not polite clapping, but a tidal wave of raw, emotional respect. It echoed off palace gates. It swept through generations. It filled the air with something more sacred than silence. Then Heath turned without a word and returned to formation. His face returned to stillness, eyes forward, as if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. By sundown, the video went viral. News anchors wept, headlines screamed, and the identity of the elderly man was revealed: Corporal Arthur Jennings. A World War II veteran, long thought missing after disappearing in 1952. He had returned to England after decades abroad, battling demons no one saw, carrying memories too painful to speak aloud. Something had pulled him to that parade, a whisper from the past, the call of boots on stone, and when he stood in the middle of that road, he wasn't lost. He was coming home. Private Heath was briefly reprimanded for breaking protocol, but within hours, public outcry forced a reversal. The Royal Guard issued a rare public statement. Private Heath upheld not just the dignity of the Guard, but the spirit of the nation. And then, in a historic gesture, Buckingham Palace extended a formal invitation. Corporal Jennings was welcomed inside for tea, not as a guest, as a hero. There he spoke, haltingly, emotionally, for the first time in 70 years about what he'd lived through. He wasn't just crossing a street that day, he was crossing back into history, into honor, into remembrance. And the Guard who reached out, he didn't just break formation, he broke the silence of an entire generation. Because sometimes breaking the rules is how you uphold the highest values. Sometimes a soldier's duty is not to orders, but to memory. Sometimes the bravest march is the one taken beside someone who can no longer walk alone. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.